Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Banished Naruto stop hiding power Sasuke bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Inazuma Tate, link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. I don't own Naruto. Why? Loss of a demon, loss of a hero. Chapter 1 Inazuma Tate. 12 years ago, the Sandaime Hokage held the small baby out to his white-haired former student. Jiraiya, here he is. Jiraiya nodded and studied the seals that were still easily visible, even hours rushing after the sealing. Suddenly he stiffened. Damn Minato. I should have known you would pull something like this. The Sandaime leaned towards the white-haired Sannin. What is it? Jiraiya sighed. You know that Fuinjutsu is the art of sealing, right Sarutobi? When Sarutobi nodded the affirmative, the pervert continued. Well, normal scrolls are about as simple sealing can be. Think about it like this. Each word that exists has a certain meaning, and by writing this word down, you have sealed the knowledge into the paper that it was written on. Minato was a seal master, and he was working on a way to transfer the information sealed inside of an average scroll into someone's mind, effectively maximizing the time you could improve on something. This seal here, Jiraiya pointed to a seal on the infant's stomach, is the product of that research. When Minato first went out with all of his scrolls on sealing techniques, and especially Hiraishin no Jutsu, I began to wonder what he was doing. Realization dawned on the elderly Hokage's features. You mean to say that this child has all of the collective knowledge of the Namikaze and Uzumaki clans? All Jiraiya could do was nod. And this is just Minato's backup plan. Should a mind-altering seal ever be placed on Naruto, the seal will break, but the process must be jump-started by something that Minato found familiar. I believe that the focal point of this seal was based on Naruto seeing Kushina after the placement of the seal, cancelling out the interfering seal, and flooding little Naruto's mind with all of the jutsu, research, sealing techniques, and whatever else Minato saw fit to place inside that seal. The Hokage looked pensive. Wouldn't that kill Naruto? That much information should overload his mind if it were to all be absorbed at once. Jiraiya nodded. It would, but Naruto has two things going for him. The Kyuubi, and the fact that the seal will release the information back to him while he sleeps, effectively allowing his mind to cope with the sudden influx of information. All of a sudden the doors to the Hokage's study were thrown open, an Anbu member skidding to a halt. Hokage-sama, the council wishes to see you. I believe they wish to decide the boy's fate. The Hokage nodded. Dismissed. The Anbu saluted and then promptly vanished in a puff of smoke. Sarutobi sighed as he eased himself into the chair. Damn vultures. They probably want to kill Naruto. Jiraiya walked to the door. If you can't stop them, I will. The Sandaime Hokage stood and walked out the door. They will not harm Naruto. I will make sure of that. Flash forward, the day after team assignments, Sakura was skipping happily towards her house, content in her thoughts of being on the same team as Sasuke. She stumbled slightly when she remembered that Naruto is on her team as well, but quickly banished that thought. Sakura quickly opened the door to her home and ran inside, slamming the door to get her mother's attention. Sakura's mother looked up from her work. Sakura, sweetie, how did it go? Sakura smiled, it went great, I'm on Sasuke-kun's team. Not even the fact that Naruto Baka is on our team too can bring me down. Sakura's mother's smile slipped, say that 5 times fast, Naruto. As in Uzumaki Naruto. Sakura nodded and crossed her arms over her chest, yeah, I know it stinks. I mean, he didn't even pass the Genin exam in the first place. How can he be a ninja? Sakura's mother frowned, Sakura-chan, there's something you should know about that brat. He isn't human. Sakura blinked, Mom, he's stupid and obsessed with me, but he's definitely human. No Sakura. What I am about to tell you is an S-class secret and you cannot tell anyone or let anyone know you know this or you will be killed. Uzumaki Naruto is the Kyuubi no Kitsune. The Yondaime was unable to kill the Kyuubi, instead he sealed away its power and turned it into a baby. Uzumaki Naruto is evil. End of Sasuke retrieval arc. Naruto stood in front of the assembled council, wondering why he was brought here. As a matter of fact, he realized he had been wondering about a lot of things lately, more specifically Sakura's behavior towards the return of Naruto and Sasuke. Flashback, Naruto was just able to make out the walls that surrounded Konoha as he trudged slowly along the dirt path, his muscles protesting every step fiercely. The dead weight on his back that was Sasuke did nothing to help the matter. After a few minutes of pained movement, he reached the gates of Konoha. Spotting a familiar head of pink hair, he put on his giant grin and began jogging a little faster. Sakura-chan. I did it, I brought back the team. Naruto was thrown backwards, tumbling head over heels trying to regain his bearings. While he lied dazed on his back he looked up in confusion at what had happened. What he saw was almost enough to make him cry. Sakura was standing there, with her fist covered in blood. The nameless Konoha-nin picked up Sasuke and spoke. I will take Sasuke-san to the hospital. You should treat Naruto-san's wounds here, they appear to be much more severe. With that, the ninja vanished in a swirl of leaves. Sakura looked at Naruto with disgust written on her face. I can't believe you, Naruto. How could you do that to Sasuke-kun? You were supposed to bring him back, not damn near kill him. Naruto attempted to speak but was cut off by Sakura. I knew you were jealous of him, but how could you beat Sasuke like that? Oh wait, I know it's because you really are a demon. If you can't get what you want, you start killing. As Sakura finished this final proclamation, she reared her fist back to hit Naruto again when someone grabbed her fist and threw her into the ground. Naruto could barely make out Tsunade before he blacked out. Flashback end. Naruto took his seat at the epicenter of the circular council chamber. The council members quickly quieted down, and as though it had been rehearsed before, the man known as Danzo stood up and spoke. Uzumaki Naruto, you have been brought here today for your illicit assault against a shinobi of Konoha, Uchiha Sasuke. You have been found guilty by all members of the civilian council, and therefore, you have two options. You can be executed, or you can be banished, and have any memories of chakra-intensive techniques and sensitive information sealed off by the memory seal. You may now choose. As he sat down, the doors were thrown open, and standing there was an enraged Tsunade. What is the meaning of this? You cannot sentence a Konoha shinobi without my approval. Danzo simply smiled. Quite right, Tsunade, but in this case, the council controls the sentence due to the fact that there is only one Uchiha left, and thus we must make an example of his attacker. People cannot just attack the last of a clan and expect to get away with it, now can they? Tsunade just snarled as Jiraiya popped up from out of nowhere and walked up behind Naruto. Jiraiya spoke into Naruto's ear. Hey Gaki. Take banishment, that way I can protect you without the council's interference, because you will no longer be a Konoha shinobi. Naruto looked upset, but nodded slightly. Danzo looked up. Banishment it is. My forces will place the seal on him and be done with it, but for now Naruto felt a sharp pain on his arm. When he looked down he saw a needle poking out of his forearm. He would be taken to the outlying village before being sent to clean up the destruction of the Konoha forests. I believe the most damage was caused by a Sunanin as she came to the rescue of one Nara Shikamaru. A few seconds later Naruto collapsed, unconscious. The machines, beeping incessantly, were beginning to get on the nerves of even the most stoic of the Rookie Nine and company. Shikamaru was the first to break the almost silence. Where is Naruto? From what I heard he was injured far worse than the Uchiha here. Shikamaru looked down distastefully at the sole remaining Uchiha. Sakura looked up almost instantly, moving her head from its place on Sasuke's shoulder. Why should anyone care? He should be killed for harming Sasuke-kun. I mean, come on, how could he even come close to Sasuke's level without doing something illegal to get all of that power? Ino looked at Sakura in disgust. How can you say that, Sakura? You of all people should know how strong Naruto is. Sakura sneered. All I remember is Sasuke-kun and I saving his life over and over again. Did you guys know that in the Wave mission, Sasuke-kun and I saved him from Zabuza and his apprentice? Or how about when Sasuke-kun saved him from Gaara during the Chunin exams? Temari looked up from her seat near the door. Sorry to burst your bubble, Pinky, but your precious Sasuke didn't even come close to beating Gaara. Naruto beat Gaara. Even after the actual demon came out. And besides, what made you think that Sasuke bested Gaara in the first place? Sakura actually looked surprised. It's because Naruto is too weak to even scratch Sasuke-kun, let alone a demon. At that, Shino leaned forwards. That is impossible, Haruno-san. If Naruto was unable to even scratch Sasuke, then how would he be able to almost kill him and still have enough energy to bring him back to Konoha? Sakura smiled. Because he is a demon. Everyone in the room except the Sand siblings and Shino jumped in shock. Kiba was the first to speak. What the hell are you going on about, Sakura? Sakura put her head back on Sasuke's shoulder. No human can kill a demon. The Yondaime was no exception. Instead of killing the Kyuubi no Kitsune, like we were all told, he sealed it inside of Naruto right after he was born. Shikamaru spoke up after a small silence. This makes Naruto a demon, how exactly? Sakura looked up at him with a slightly psychotic gleam in her eye. Because Naruto is a dope, there's no way he could ever even dream to match Sasuke. I mean, not only was he Rookie of the Year, but Sasuke is an Uchiha. Niji snorted. As was I the year before, and to top that, I am a Hyuga. If there is anything Naruto taught me, it's that genius is nothing without the hard work to back it up. All power comes at a price, and only those who truly work for it know what power is truly worth. Sakura shook her head. You may be good, but you are no Sasuke. He's the best. The only way for Naruto to have defeated him was if he was an incredibly powerful demon. You all believe me, right guys? Everyone just shook their heads. Sakura's features became twisted in pure rage. You mean you all believe that Naruto can match Sasuke? No. It's not true. I'll bet the demon got to them. Yes, that must be it. Ino nudged Sakura. We're still here, Sakura. Sakura just shook herself from her daze. Don't worry guys, I'll get the villagers to help get rid of Naruto, then, once the demon is dead, you will finally see it for what it really is. Everyone in the room just started edging away from the clearly deranged girl. Then, before any of them could react, Sakura had jumped out the window. Almost instantly, Ino was there, watching Sakura run into the village. Shikamaru was the first to speak. This is troublesome, now we have to warn the Hokage about how the entire village is going to try and kill Naruto at every chance they get. Kiba shook his head. Come on Shikamaru, you don't really mean everybody do you? Shino was the one to answer this question. You all remember the days surrounding October 10th, Naruto would skip school, and if any of us were able to catch a glimpse of him, he would be covered in blood and bandages. Shikamaru nodded. I think it's safe to assume this won't be the first time the villagers have attempted to kill him. Anyway, don't we have a Hokage to warn? Everyone in the room nodded and spoke. Hi. Everyone blurred out of the room except Shikamaru. He looked around. Troublesome, he left through the door and began walking down the stairs. Naruto woke to find himself in a small room with Jiraiya looming over him. Hiro-sanin. What are you doing here? The pervert just shook his head. Stop calling me that, Gaki. Anyway, as you know the council has had you banished. I managed to talk it over with Danzo and I will be the one applying your seal. Naruto just looked confused. What seal? Jiraiya smacked his head with his hand. The memory seal. I figured that if I am the one to apply the seal, then the council will not be able to claim that it was not given properly and have you killed for security reasons. Naruto paled. But why am I here? The Sannin shook his head. Your pink-haired friend gathered the villagers and organized a mob. Naruto blinked. But wh. Naruto suddenly felt a sharp pain in his head as though his brain was trying to bash its way out of his skull. A few seconds later, he fell unconscious. Jiraiya sighed. This is not going to be fun. One day later, Naruto wiped the sweat from his brow. He had been working at cleaning up the mess that some ninja had made in the forest. Some sand Kunoichi took out all of the trees with a blast of wind. He hadn't really listened to what had happened, in his mind all that mattered was that he was the one to be doing all of the work. Naruto sighed. What the hell did I do to deserve this kind of workload? I mean, I just came to Konoha. His musings were interrupted by a soft groan. Naruto jumped, swiveling his head to try and pinpoint where the sound was coming from. It didn't take long before he found its source. An arm sticking out of a pile of bowled-over trees. Hey, if you can hear me, make another noise. Naruto cocked an ear for a moment before hearing a much louder grunt. Alright, give me a minute and I'll have you out of there. He leapt over to the log that was lying on the top and placing both hands on the log, attempted to roll it off of the person's arm. After about a minute of straining himself, he slipped and smashed his head into the log. Hard. The wood began to groan and then toppled down. This first action created a domino effect because soon after, the rest of the logs covering the person were following the first log down the hill. Naruto sat up, still feeling dazed from the impact. After clearing his head, he looked at the newly freed person. The first thing that came to mind when he saw the mass of red hair was a name. Kushina. Naruto blinked in confusion. Where the hell did that come from? He leaned over the girl and picked her up. Looks like she could use a hospital visit. At least I can finally take a break now. He shifted the girl around in his arms until he was carrying her bridal style. As soon as he felt that he had her in a decent enough hold, he began going as fast as he could to the nearest town while attempting not to cause any more damage or wake her up. He only managed one of his goals. Hey shithead, put me down. Naruto flinched at the sheer volume of the cry. He looked at the foul-mouthed girl in his arms. Keep it down would you? Is this any way to talk to the person who saved your life? Irideed sputtered indignantly. Help. I didn't need your fucking help damn it. I would have been fine without your help shithead. Naruto sighed. How about we try this again? Hello, my name is Naruto. What's your name? The girl glared at him. Tei, hey, I know you. You're that loudmouthed idiot who tried to bring that faggoty-ass pretty boy back to Konoha. How did that go, anyway? Naruto stopped and gently set Tei down against a tree. Ma, I heard about that mission, but I wasn't involved in it. I'm no shinobi after all. Naruto then plopped himself down right beside Tei, who looked like the world had ended. Like hell you weren't involved. Hey, what's that on the back of your neck? Naruto craned his head to the side, trying to get a better look. What's what on my neck? Is it a bug or something? Tei rolled her eyes. Shut up Stumpy and put your back to me. Naruto complied, mostly out of confusion. Tei dragged her fingertips lightly across his neck, tracing the symbols that made up a seal. Damn, what the hell did this kid do to be banished? From what I heard from people passing by, was that the mission was a success. Why would they punish the kid unless Tei smiled wryly? Damn, favoritism at its greatest. Damn Stumpy, what the hell did you do to get yourself banished? She muttered under her breath. Naruto looked up. You say something. Tei instantly yelled at him. None of your damn business shithead. Now, are you going to help me, or are you just going to take a nap? Naruto smirked. Well, I am feeling a little tired right now so. AI's eyes bugged out. Oh, fuck no, you are going to help me now, damn it. Naruto scratched the back of his head. As you command, Taiya. Naruto moved to pick up the girl but was met with a fist. Call me that again and I'll fucking castrate you. Taiya yelled. Naruto flinched. He knew when to draw the line. He picked up Taiya and began his slow journey home. Around half an hour later the two of them were standing in front of Naruto's shabby apartment. This is where you live. What the hell kind of a shithole is it? Naruto shrugged. Looks aren't everything, just as long as everything works in my apartment I'm happy, and unless you would rather go to the hospital. Taiya smacked the back of his head. I told you, that is not going to happen. I may never be able to walk again, but there's no way in hell I am going to spend the rest of my life in a jail cell. Naruto shrugged and walked into his apartment, setting the swearing girl down on his couch before collapsing on the floor. Taiya began pelting him with leftover instant ramen cups. Stumpy. Get the fuck up, I'm hungry. Naruto just made a non-committal grunt and promptly fell asleep. Taiya sighed. Bastard didn't even get me some food. Taiya leaned back into the couch, trying to get to sleep. A few moments later, she succeeded. Naruto's mindscape. Naruto was standing on a grate and in front of him there was a barrier. The barrier looked as though it was about to break, like a dam that was holding too much water. Naruto saw himself in front of the barrier beating on it as hard as he could. Soon, the barrier began groaning and buckling. He backed away from the barrier, unsure of how he was watching himself break down a barrier. Suddenly, the barrier exploded, but instead of water pouring out from it, images and information began streaming through the hole that had been made. Naruto was stricken with fear, he began running away from the stream, although he didn't get very far. He soon tripped over his own feet and was temporarily rendered immobile as the information beam struck him in the forehead. The only thing he could do was sit there and let the information continue into his mind. As the flow slowed and then finally stopped, the room began to darken until he could see nothing. Suddenly, images flashed past his eyes, almost like a slideshow. Naruto saw himself, then images of a dark-haired boy with an emo expression flashed past. And then Naruto realized something. He knew. He knew who they were, how he knew them and most importantly, he knew himself. This may not seem like much to most people, he realized, but even just going one day without knowing yourself is 2 days too long. Soon after, the images faded and then Naruto's consciousness fell into a deep slumber, giving his mind time to cope with everything that had just been unleashed upon his mind. However, one thing refused to leave him, even in his truly unconscious state. It sounded like a deep, extremely menacing voice, and it was coming from a giant red face that belonged to a fox, and it kept saying the same thing, over and over again. Kumarigakur acceptance is here. Naruto awoke with his head feeling like it had been used for target practice by Tsunade. Naruto shuddered. The only person who can come back from one of those punches is Iro-sanin. I wonder if it's because he has built up a resistance to them. As Naruto sat up, cradling his head, he was lightly slapped. Naruto started, then slowly turned his head in the direction the slap came from. He saw a girl, with red hair splayed out across his couch, the offending limb laying just off of the worn cushions that made up his overused sofa. As Naruto stood up, he heard a low rumbling that came from Taiya's stomach. Almost in recognition of her hunger, she brought her arm back onto the couch and curled it around her stomach. She then promptly began snoring softly, with Naruto smiling down at the sheer cuteness of her actions while sleeping, especially compared to her actions while she was awake. Naruto went to get some food from the cupboards, namely ramen. As Naruto set the water to boil, he heard Taiya mumbling something in her sleep. After a moment of wrestling with his conscience, he walked over to Taiya's head and leaned over it, trying to make out the words. Naruto mmphmmn fu. Naruto leaned a little closer and was met with a fist that sent him flying across his living room and into his television set. Naruto groaned while lying in the debris that was once a television. He tilted his head up even though his vision was swimming in and out of focus and saw Taiya face down on the couch with her fist straight out. She turned her head towards Naruto. Where's my goddamn food, you asshole? Naruto smacked himself in the face, then stood up and slowly ambled over to the boiling water while cursing his stupidity for smacking his already aching head. Naruto looked up from pouring ramen into the hot water as Taiya eased herself into a sitting position. Hey Taiya, what's with all of the swearing? I don't think I did anything to deserve such harsh words, even if I did screw up your Sasuke retrieval mission. Taiya twitched. I thought you said you didn't know anything about that mission. Naruto blinked owlishly. I remember now. Naruto shrugged. Taiya smacked her head on the armrest, then sat straight up so fast Naruto could have sworn he heard bones snapping. Wait a minute, alright, get over here Stumpy, I need to check something out. Naruto nodded apprehensively. He knew how much those punches hurt. She has a lot more muscle compared to Sakura. Then again, Sakura just frowns on Sasuke. Taiya actually trains. Hi, Taiya. Just don't hit me again please. Taiya rolled her eyes as Naruto sat on the ground in front of her. Weakling, Taiya mumbled as she brushed Naruto's hair away from his neck to get a better look at the memory suppression seal that was in place the night before. Wah. How did this happen? Taiya spoke under her breath. Naruto barely caught the words. How did what happen? Naruto asked as he turned around. Taiya just shook her head in amazement. Or confusion. You had a memory suppression seal, my guess is that you were stripped of rank and banished from the Konoha in ranks. Naruto put his head to the side. But, aren't those seals completely irreversible? That is why they are so complicated to make and apply, right? Taiya nodded. Yeah, but one of the things Orochimaru was teaching us, being the Sound 5, was that although the banned seals, as they are called by most, cannot be removed, they can be protected against. Orochimaru was trying to figure out a way to do this. Naruto scratched the back of his head and looked as though he was deep in thought. All of a sudden, his eyes lit up. Hey, Taiya-chan, I think that was the longest you've ever gone without swearing. The sound of cracking knuckles and low growling was enough to snap Naruto out of his patented thinking pose. His eyes widened in fear as he looked at a very angry Taiya with the promise of pain in her eyes. Taiya-chan. Naruto gulped. I think I better get the ramen, no. Taiya nodded very slowly, the fire in her eyes diminishing slightly. And I have an idea for your training. Naruto looked at her, quite confused. Training? Naruto stood up and walked over the cooked ramen. Taiya sighed. We have an unprecedented opportunity here, we would be fools to waste it. Naruto finished serving the ramen, sat down beside Taiya and set a ramen down in her lap. You mean that since everyone believes that not only have my memories been sealed off, but the fact that they all think I am incapable of self-discipline or properly training myself. Taiya's mouth was on the verge of being unhinged. What the fuck, she practically yelled. Naruto flinched, the noise causing further brain damage. When the hell did you get so smart? I may not have known you for long, but you didn't seem the type to use any words that had more than 3 syllables in them. Naruto closed his eyes. I'm not sure. I remember hearing those words before, but now I know what they mean and how to integrate them into a sentence. He opened his eyes in time to see Taiya's jaw go a little lower. I did it again, didn't I? Taiya couldn't do anything but nod. Naruto just laughed, then closed his eyes once again. Well, if it was possible to feel smart, I'd imagine this is what it would feel like. Everything that I have been taught, everything I heard, it's all at my fingertips. My mind is organized, this is awesome. He smiled and his eyes snapped open. What are we waiting for? I have nothing to do all day, for about half of a year. Let the training begin. Dear God, let the training end. Was the only thought continually running through Naruto's mind as his shadow clones practiced jutsus that Taiya had stolen from the public study area, under a henge, of course, and he himself was run into the ground. The once limitless energy Naruto had quickly ran out as soon as Taiya figured out he had it. If Lee had seen the training regime Naruto had been put through for the past 6 months, even he would back away, spouting about how his flames of youth were not vibrant enough to undertake such training. The training was so intense and grueling that it would scar your lives forever should you read it. Unfortunately for Naruto, not only did he read it, but he also went through it every day for 6 months. His healing factor allowing him to stretch his muscles to the breaking point and having them perfectly healed and much stronger the very next day. Taiya had even made him write out a list of every jutsu he knew and then forced him to master at least one new one per month. The chakra training exercises had paid off several times over, in Naruto's opinion. He now wasted virtually no chakra when performing jutsu, his jutsu were much more powerful, and the best thing, in his opinion, was that he could make the Rasengan, unhanded, with no clones. It took Taiya bashing him on the head to stop him from jumping for joy and screaming to the heavens. After 6 months of non-stop secret training, he was finally awarded a day off. It's about time. Naruto spoke, relieved, right before he threw himself on his bed. Taiya just smiled. You've definitely earned it, Stumpy. Naruto groaned and buried his head further into his pillow. Taiya smirked and wheeled herself away in a wheelchair that Naruto had swiped for her from the hospital 5 months ago. Mere seconds after attempting to sleep, there was several knocks on the door to Naruto's apartment. Taiya instantly changed direction and hid herself in the spare room of Naruto's apartment. Naruto groaned yet again as he dragged himself out of his bed and opened the door to his apartment. In the doorway stood Jiraiya. Hiro-sanin. Jiraiya's eyes widened and he leapt into the apartment, his hand covering Naruto's mouth. How in the hell did you crack that seal, kid? Naruto looked confused for a second before he put his hand behind his head. I don't know, I came back from finishing up the cleanup of the mission with Taiya, and Jiraiya's eyes widened. Taiya? As in the sound ninja. What the hell is wrong with you, kid? Naruto shrugged. Nothing, I just felt compelled to help her is all. I couldn't really go against it. Jiraiya closed the door behind him. The eye of the sound, you can come out now. I won't turn you into the Anbu if that's what you're thinking. The two males heard a door slam. Fine, you damn pervert. But if you go back on your word, you'll find out about all of the painful things I can do with eating utensils. The pervert's eyes widened as he looked at Taiya. Just like Kushina, of course. This piqued Naruto's interest. Who's Kushina, Iro-sanin? Jiraiya continued to stare off into space before being brought back to reality by a perfectly executed shoe to the face by Taiya. Naruto smiled. In his mind there was a chibi Naruto holding up a scorecard that had 9.5 on it, with a chibi Taiya standing on top of a chibi Jiraiya while holding the good guy pose. Jiraiya spoke. Kushina was your mother, Naruto. One of the seals the Yondaime placed on you at birth was to activate when you saw your mother. Naruto looked confused. What good would that do? Jiraiya sat down on the couch. When a human brain actually matures, the memories of your mother are ingrained into your mind, either from close proximity or from something else that we don't understand quite yet. Jiraiya gestured towards Taiya. Although, you seem to have broken the seal by being around someone who not only has the major attribute of your mother, her red hair, but also the similarity of their personalities. And even if you hadn't found her, you would have subconsciously continued looking for someone who resembled her. Naruto's eyes widened. Is that why I kept going after Sakura? She had pink hair and it was pretty close to red, but that didn't work. Jiraiya nodded. That would have explained your devotion to her. You were subconsciously being drawn to her by an imprint of your mother's appearance and personality left on your mind. Unfortunately, Sakura was a fangirl through and through, nothing like your mother. Taiya cut in. Now, why the hell would the Yondaime do something like that? It doesn't make any sense. Why seal the Kyuubi into him and then make him stupid? Jiraiya shook his head. He did this to protect Naruto the best he could. He knew that by sealing the fox into Naruto he would die. He also suspected that the villagers would fear him, although he believed the shinobi of the village to be able to discern the difference between the jailer and prisoner. He knew that if Naruto was in any way shown to excel at something, the majority of the villagers would believe it too by the demon's doing. So he dumbed Naruto down a little. Naruto stood up. Well, I understand. If I were to be unusually intelligent, the villagers would jump to the worst conclusions possible. Naruto scratched his chin thoughtfully. It may even have been worse than year 8, his voice trailed off at the looks his two house guests were giving him. Taiya was the first to speak. Year 8? What the hell is so important about year 8? Jiraiya sent Naruto a piercing glare. I would like to know this as well. Please, continue. Naruto backed away and waved his arms in a disarming manner. Nothing happened, it was a slip of the tongue. The glares intensified and he soon wilted under the pressure. Alright, but you both have to promise not to tell anyone about this. Taiya and Jiraiya nodded in unison. Well, as you both know, the villagers only saw me as the Kyuubi, not Naruto. Usually, the only time they would get violent is around the Kyuubi festival. However, one of my early teachers, the ones that hated me, let it slip that I was attending the academy. The villagers were not pleased, to say the least. It was the worst beating I had received. If a medic nin had not seen me in the alley, I would have died. Even with Kyuubi's healing factor. Naruto turned around and lifted his shirt to show the scars on his back. My back gets scars. I think it's because there are too many nerves to heal quickly enough without causing me to go into shock. Naruto then let his shirt down. Taiya whistled. Damn man, and I thought my life was bad. You know, just for that, you have been promoted from Stumpy. Naruto smiled. At least one person didn't instantly pity him. And what have I been promoted to, Taiya? Taiya smiled. You have been promoted to Uzumaki. Naruto face faulted. Jiraiya just stood up and stretched his arms. Well, anyway, the similarities in personality between Taiya and Kushina should be enough to break the seal, considering it has weakened considerably. It should have broken years ago. Anyway, here's a present, Gaki. Naruto looked up questioningly. What do you mean? The Toad-sanin reached into a pocket and pulled out a folded photograph. Naruto hesitantly took the picture and opened it, only to rock it back from a giant nosebleed. Jiraiya took the picture from Naruto's quivering body and looked at it. He smiled lecherously. Oops, wrong picture. Let me see here. He reached into several other pockets before pulling out yet another picture. Here you go kid, this here's a picture of your mother and father. Naruto stood up, swaying slightly from blood loss. He took the picture from the perverted man and handed it to Taiya. I don't trust him. Could you make sure it's not porn this time, Taiya? Taiya snorted. Fine, Uzumaki. She unfolded the picture. Inside the glossy photograph stood a beautiful red-haired woman and a blonde man whose arms wrapped around her tightly. Hold on, it's the Yondaime. Naruto jumped. The Yondaime is my mother. No you fucking idiot. He's your father. Jiraiya ambled towards the door. See you two lovebirds later, my research senses are tingling. Before I go. Jiraiya stopped halfway through the door. You two should get out of here as soon as possible. It will take at least another 8 days for the information stored in Minato's seal to fully integrate itself into Naruto's brain. When that time comes, I want you two to be long gone, say, 7 days. With that, he shut the door. Naruto placed the picture of his parents in his pocket. So Uzumaki, what do you say we pack and leave? Naruto took a deep breath and nodded. My family name isn't Uzumaki. It's Namikaze. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto. Taiya grunted. Well then, Namikaze. Shall we pack? Naruto smiled. Let's. Naruto sighed as he sank into the bliss that is sleep. He had spent all day packing, with Taiya directing him. He closed his eyes and prepared himself for the relief of unconsciousness. When he next opened his eyes, he was standing in front of a giant cage, with a monstrous fox standing in front of him. Naruto smacked himself in the head. Damn it, fox, I was trying to sleep. Suddenly, the grinning visage loomed out of the darkness behind the bars. Silence, you skinbag. I have called you here to reason with you. Naruto quirked an eyebrow. Alright fox, I'm listening. The fox's smile vanished. I suppose it would be futile to attempt to dissuade you from taking along the cripple. Naruto snorted. No shit. The fox snarled. Fine, I was going to tell you a way to fix your friend's physical impairment, but if you continue to disrespect me like that, the threat was left out, but Naruto's eyes had lit up as soon as the Kyuubi had mentioned a way to restore Taiya's body. How can I help her, Kyuubi-sama? Please tell me. The fox smiled again. Much better, Kit. Anyway, I would like you to split my power with her. Naruto's eyes narrowed at this, but he didn't interrupt. Now, in doing this not only would I die, but your physical attributes that are caused by my residence here would disappear. This is because you would now hold about 4 1/2 taels of power and it would be untainted by my intent. Naruto opened his mouth, but before he could form a question, the Kyuubi interrupted. I know what you are about to ask, Kid. Why would I give this power to you and sacrifice my life in the process? It's really quite simple, but let's see if you can keep up. I have been studying the seal, and I know what happens should you die while I am here. Both our souls would be taken by the Shinigami, forever. Now, by dying before you, that portion of the seal is deemed null, because we didn't die at the same time. My soul would be sent to another plane, thus saving me from an eternity of torture. Yours as well, I might add. And one more thing. I have a summon contract for you. No, it is not Fox's Gaki, it is the Phoenix contract. You should feel privileged, you are the first human to sign it. Ever. Sign the contract in blood, blah blah blah, you know the drill. A scroll poofed out of nowhere and landed in the blonde's lap. Naruto signed the scroll, letting it poof back out of existence and then smirked. You were going to do this anyway, weren't you? The fox grinned. Hells yes, I just decided to give you the contract and tell you how to fix your mate as well. Naruto began sputtering as his face turned a shade of red that would have made Hinata swear. We're not. The fox's face disappeared into the shadows once more, only to be replaced with red chakra. I can't hear you, kid, la 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 la. Naruto watched in amazement as the mass of red chakra pouring out of the cage began turning into a brilliant white color as soon as it passed to the outside of the bars. Oh, and Kit. You won't be able to handle 9 taels of power for much longer, in your current state you will last about 10 minutes at the most. In order to fix your mate, you must channel all the chakra I am about to give to you. I will only expend half my chakra until it is all gone. Naruto left his mindscape with the sound of the fox's laughs still ringing clearly in his ears. All of a sudden he doubled over in pain. Damn, too much chakra, I have to channel it soon. Naruto did his best to stand up before running to Taiya, who had taken up residence in the chair in his room. Naruto stood over her and placed both of his hands over her heart. Her eyes shot open as he began to channel the white untainted chakra into her body. Her back arched in a silent scream until Naruto became too tired to stay standing. As he collapsed on the floor beside Taiya, his vision darkened and then went black. Taiya blinked as the sun hit her square in the face, almost blinding her. Ah, what the hell? Why does it hurt so much? Suddenly Naruto's actions from last night penetrated her mind. She let out a low growl. You little fucker. She jumped to her feet and kicked Naruto repeatedly until she realized just what she had done and was doing. My legs. How are they working? I thought they were screwed up beyond repair. Her thoughts were interrupted by Naruto yawning and slowly standing up. You. How did you do this? Taiya demanded. Naruto rubbed his eyes blearily. You mean the walking thing? Taiya nodded. I used Kyuubi's chakra after it was purified. Apparently, he'd rather die now than have his soul eaten by the Shinigami. Taiya didn't question it, she knew better than to look a gift horse in the mouth. Instead she did what any normal teenage girl would do. She glumped him until he practically died. Thank you. Thank you so much, I can walk. Haha. I'm free. After a few seconds of celebration, she realized what she was doing to the poor blonde boy. She promptly blushed and sprinted out to the living room, grabbing the bags that had been packed the day before. Well, we better get going right. Naruto walked up beside her and nodded, completely oblivious to the embarrassment on her face that would have been obvious to anyone else. Let's go, we're burning daylight. He headed out the door, closely followed by Taiya who shut the door behind her. Hey Naruto. The blonde turned towards Taiya. Yes. She crossed her arms. You do know where we are going, right? Naruto smiled and walked towards the civilian gates. Sort of. He turned too fast to catch the vein that began pulsing on Taiya's forehead. Where then? Naruto smiled and then pointed. North. Taiya's sweat dropped. Naruto, that's west. He turned and scratched the back of his head. Then west it is, good idea Taiya. Taiya shook her head, grumbling swear words under her breath as the two of them marched silently past the sleeping Chunin guards and began their journey towards wherever. Naruto with a smile on his face and Taiya with a scowl on hers. Chapter 3 Inazuma Tate X. Are we there yet? Naruto whined. No, Taiya responded, keeping her gaze locked on the ground in front of her. Things had gone from weird to worse, in her opinion. Mere hours after leaving Konoha, Naruto had admitted that he had no idea where he was headed. So she took over and headed towards the nearest town, which happened to be Tenzaku. However, that was not the strangest thing to her. In her mind, the true oddity was why she was refusing to look at him or even hit him for being an idiot. She just couldn't do it. Damn it, what the hell is wrong with me? My logic is perfect. When Naruto does something idiotic, I hit him. It's not the hardest thing to do or it wasn't. What happened? Taiya's train of thought was interrupted when she realized that Naruto had not spoken for several minutes. She looked up. Naruto. You still alive? She turned her head to her side, where Naruto was walking. She saw him walking with his head hanging low. What's wrong Naruto? He stopped in the middle of the road and looked up at her, his deep blue eyes piercing through her facade of aloofness. I left them. All of my friends were there in Konoha and I left. The Taiya interrupted. If they couldn't stop your council from putting the memory seal on you, if they couldn't protect you when you couldn't protect yourself, then they don't deserve your friendship. Naruto sat down sharply, looking dumbfounded. Taiya couldn't help but let out an uncharacteristic giggle at the sight of Naruto's jaw unhinging itself as he stared at her in disbelief. She quickly put a hand over her mouth to muffle the noise. Naruto stood up slowly, dusting himself off and shaking his head. Well, I guess we should get going then, right? Taiya nodded and began walking towards Tenzaku, but not before grabbing Naruto's hand and forcibly dragging him along the road. Naruto stood up and stumbled before catching himself and doing his best to keep up. Taiya, why don't I just use the summoning contract I got from the Kyuubi? The summons can fly, right? Taiya stopped so abruptly that he crashed into her back. What summoning contract? Naruto scratched the back of his head. The Phoenix summoning contract. Taiya turned. You mean to say that we have been walking all this time when instead we could have been flying? Taiya's left eye twitched. Naruto. Naruto backpedaled quickly. Taiya. I'm summoning. Naruto bit his thumb and went through the hand seals. Kuchiyus no Jutsu. An extremely large smoke cloud billowed out from Naruto's hands, obscuring Taiya's vision. As the smoke began to clear, a deafening screech exploded out from the epicenter of the smoke, blowing away the rest of it. Naruto stood atop of a giant bird made of black fire, the giant flames licking at the air with a hungry intensity. The bird stretched its wings, beating the air around it at the ground. Taiya was hard-pressed to continue breathing. The phoenix let forth another earth-shattering screech before opening its flaming beak and forming words. Why have I been summoned? The phoenix leaned forwards, forcing Naruto to the ground in an uncontrollable tumble. The phoenix eyed the blonde boy with disdain. You are my summoner. The phoenix contract is not meant to be held by one as puny as you. Naruto's eye twitched. I'm not short, you flaming turd pile. Taiya crept up behind Naruto. Naruto, I don't think that you should argue with a giant flaming bird that could easily kill us. Naruto looked down at her sheepishly. Well, if you put it that way, the phoenix chuckled. You are an interesting one, Naruto. However, before you can summon the noble phoenix clans, you must pass a test. Naruto paled considerably. A test? Oh man, I'm no good at tests. How about a ramen eating contest instead? Naruto's proposal elicited another rumbling chuckle from the immortal bird. I was thinking more along the lines of a test of your integrity. How would you use the strength of the Phoenix clan? Naruto put his hand on his chin in a thinking pose. I would protect my friends. None of my friends will suffer for as long as I live, and for as long as they are my friends, I will protect them. The firebird seemed slightly surprised at this statement. Odd, I can sense a taint on you, but your ideals are pure and truthful. Not even your fiery friend behind you is corrupt, despite the demonic chakra I can sense emanating from the both of you. Very well, you have passed the test. My name is Fenikusuyo. Now, what is it you summoned me for? Naruto scratched the back of his head. We needed a lift. It was quite a sight to see, a 5-story bird compassed entirely of fire, sweat dropping. You called me here to get a lift. Naruto nodded sheepishly. Well, I am not going to be your steed, but I know one phoenix who is eager enough to. Mind you, she doesn't get out much. Funakusuio expelled a ball of fire from his beak. On its way to the ground, the fire morphed into a much smaller phoenix. The small phoenix looked up at Funakusuio expectantly. Hikite, meet the new phoenix summoner. Hikite nodded towards Naruto. You are to be his familiar here in the elemental countries. Naruto, Hikite is young, by our standards, but she is eager to see the world. You two have fun. Naruto nodded and was blasted back by a gust of air from one of Funakusuio's wings. Oi, shithead, what the hell do you think you're doing? Naruto looked confused as he lied on the ground before realizing just what Taiya was talking about. Looking at the position he was in, he instantly blushed. The gust of wind had bowled him over, right into Taiya, and as he fell he put his hands out to break his fall, with his hands landing on pervert. Get your hands off my chest, you hentai. Naruto jumped up so fast, he almost tripped again. Nah, Taiya, it was an accident, I swear. Taiya glowered. It damn well have better been. You can't touch me unless I give permission. Naruto had a blank look on his face. You would let me? Taiya froze. And no. Naruto smiled. Well, Morov bared his teeth. Tsuur Taiya-chan, sure. Taiya was about to retort but was interrupted by a hail of shuriken aimed at Naruto. Naruto and Taiya were both swept onto the back of Hikite. As she took flight in an attempt to get away from their attacker. She landed down the road and Naruto jumped off to face his unseen foe. Out of the tree line stepped one Uchiha Sasuke. So then, here you are, dope. Sasuke sneered before looking at the boss phoenix summon that was standing silently between the two rivals. Sasuke spoke again. You are a phoenix. An immortal bird of flame. Funakusuio nodded. That is so. Sasuke smirked at Naruto before returning his attention back to Funakusuio. I am giving you the opportunity to serve me, the last Uchiha spoke to the phoenix. If you give me your power I will let you become the Uchiha clan summon. Funakusuio simply roared. Your corruption runs exceedingly deep, almost as deep as your narrow-minded arrogance. I would never serve anyone, let alone ally myself with scum such as you. Sasuke's face showed only rage. You would turn down the chance to serve me? To serve the Uchiha clan? Once I kill Uzumaki you will see the error of your ways. To serve the Uchiha clan is the greatest honor that can be bestowed upon another. Sasuke roared. Yet another new voice cut in. Foolish little brother, you still know nothing of true strength. When I left you all those years ago, you were to use your rage, not let it consume you. You will never become strong. Itachi spoke as he stepped out of the foliage, with Kisame at his side. Sasuke took a step forward and hissed. Itachi, today you die. Sasuke sprinted towards Itachi, who still had yet to move at all. Suddenly, Itachi held his hand out and sent Sasuke flying backwards with a flick of his finger. Kisame, I have everything under control here. Get Naruto out of here. Kisame nodded, releasing his hold on the handle of his sword. Now little brother, allow me to show you the extent of my true strength compared to your rage-driven fanaticism. With that, Itachi blurred out of existence and reappeared behind Sasuke, swiftly giving him a hard chop on the back of the neck. Sasuke slumped to the ground, unconscious. Pitiful. Kisame reached Naruto and Taiya. You two have been given the chance to join another hidden village. Kumarigakur here reached into his pockets and pulled out two hit I-8 with the symbol of a whirlpool on it. Naruto looked suspiciously at him. What the hell? Aren't you the guys trying to kill me? Kisame sighed and was about to answer when a voice came from right behind Naruto. We do not actually follow Akatsuki, Naruto. A few of Akatsuki's members are not what they appear. In the beginning, the cause of the organization was much more noble. Something has happened however, and the leader has become corrupted. Itachi loomed out from behind Naruto. We follow one who has the power to stop the wrongdoings of Akatsuki. In this frame of mind, our leader has created Kumarigakur. You shall journey there. Akatsuki's leader does not know of its existence and you will be safe there. Taiya took the hit I-8s from Kisame. How can we trust you? How do we know that you are not just going to lead us to our deaths? Kisame growled. You stupid brat. We could have killed you at any time and instead we waited. Besides, where else are you going to go? You both were abandoned by your respective villages and if they find out you are alive Taiya interrupted, what do you mean? Why would anyone think we are dead? Itachi's eyes widened slightly. So you left before the incident. Interesting, this time it was Naruto who interrupted. What incident? Kisame answered. It must have been mere hours after you left your village, the villagers burned your house to the ground and attempted to kill anyone they deemed of being demon lovers. There were no real ninja in this mob, so they were unable to. Naruto's eyes widened. That means how many people were killed? Itachi stepped in front of Naruto. A few mobbers and a raiment stand was burned down. Naruto stopped breathing. Did anybody die? Itachi shook his head. Tsunade had received information on the mob's creation and evacuated anyone who could have fit the criteria of a demon lover. Naruto nodded. Sounds like botchin'. Alright, well, what do you think about this, Funakusuio? The aforementioned phoenix cocked his head to the side. They mean no harm, and their story makes sense. Otherwise, I would have wondered what Isanade was doing, allowing his subordinate to join his enemies, and along with the chakra devourer, Samahata. Kisam's eyes widened. Maybe, but how? The phoenix shook its head. Have you looked in a mirror recently? Anyway, I'm off. But before I go, a stream of condensed fire shot from the beak of the phoenix. The flames split into two streams before impacting both Naruto's and Taiya's right arms. The flames seemed to create a design, and the small group watched in a morbid fascination as the flames turned into tattoos of a phoenix. Naruto and Taiya were both knocked unconscious as the flames finished the design and disappeared. Those are chakra batteries, they can only be used for summoning Phoenix clan members and Phoenix fire techniques. Tell those two this once they wake. With that, the firebird disappeared in an implosion of heat and fire. Kisame kicked Naruto's unconscious form. Damn it, now we have to carry them all the way to Kumori Itachi. Itachi was already summoning a crow. Kisame, we should be there by nightfall. Bring the two of them and place them on the crow. Kisame did so, but grumbled something about lazy partners under his breath. After all was secured in place, the crow took off with a quick word from Itachi. They were followed by a small phoenix and left one Uchiha lying face down in a pile of mud. Naruto awoke like he always did, his senses slowly sending him information until they caught up to his brain. He opened his eyes and surveyed his surroundings. He was in a rather large apartment and one that appeared to have multiple rooms. He attempted to get off of the couch he was lying on before he realized that he was being pinned down by something that seemed to cover his entire body. He looked down without moving to see Taiya. With her head on his chest and arms wrapped around him, she was pinning him to the couch. Fortunately, Naruto could still use his hands, so he made a cage bunshin and kawarmied with it so that he could look for a window. He soon found one and looked out into a large town. The town appeared to be mostly hidden by the shadow of the overhanging cliff, but since it was daylight, Naruto could easily view the village in all of its grandeur. Most, if not all of the buildings had black or navy blue roofs. From Naruto's perspective, he was completely surrounded by a city, with roads and pathways that stretched like a spider's threads out into the horizon. I had the same look on my face when I first looked out on the town as well. Naruto whirled around. Who said that? From the shadows, a figure took a step out into the light streaming from the window. Naruto's eyes widened slightly. Itachi. Itachi nodded. Yes, Naruto. You see, this is a village that has become populated from outcasts, mostly Kekkei Genkai holders from Kiri. We accepted no one who had committed crimes. Naruto raised his eyebrow at this. You killed an entire clan, and they accepted you? What do these people deem as a crime? Itachi smiled, a sight which looked strangely out of place on the usually emotionless face. In all actuality, Naruto, I only killed 10 people of the Uchiha clan. The clan elders, Shisui and Fugaku. I let Sasuke go because I had already used Tsukiyomi to implant images of the entire clan's slaughter. In fact, most of the remainder of the Uchiha clan live in this very building. Naruto was about to speak when someone interrupted him. Naruto. What the fuck do you think you're doing, you shithead? Itachi and Naruto winced simultaneously. Itachi wiggled his finger inside his ear. You sure picked a loud girlfriend, didn't you? Naruto shrugged helplessly before the meaning of the sentence made it into his mind. Naruto tried to speak, she's not, we're not, it's ga. Screw you, Itachi. Itachi cackled maniacally. You two have 7 days to get settled here, and no, Naruto, there is no more room in this apartment complex, so you two will be living together. Itachi began to laugh again, but quickly silenced himself. You two are to be tested on your abilities and then placed on a Genin team. Since Konoha is the closest village, you two will participate in the Chunin exams, along with a third member. You three, well Genin ranked, have already proven yourselves to be at a much higher skill level. Itachi walked towards the door beside the windows. You three will be expected to work as a team, therefore, you will share all of your skills, fighting styles, and specialties. While you are in Konoha, for safety reasons, you two will change your appearance and go by code names. Naruto is to be codenamed Byako, and Taiya will be Sanoni. Your third member's name is Kuro. He was found by the Aikakage and was shown to have a chakra bloodline. You will learn about his bloodline when you three meet. Taiya suddenly barged into the room, surprising both ninja. What the hell do you mean by chakra bloodline, emo shit? Itachi stood, slightly stunned for a second by Taiya's choice of words. He quickly shook his head and chuckled. Taiya-san, while there are many bloodlines in the world, they can all be classified into 3 categories. Eye techniques, body techniques, and chakra techniques, and if anyone can get me the translations for those last 2, that'd be great. I didn't change Dijutsu for eye techniques because it would be too different to switch between Japanese and English for them. A few examples of eye techniques would be my Sharingan and the Byakugan of Konoha. A body technique would be what your former comrade, Kagaya Kimimaro, utilized. The chakra techniques would have been Mokuton, Hyutan, or in Kuro's case, Yaso Kautai. Anyways, you two lovebirds have fun. Itachi shunshined out of the apartment, barely disappearing in time to dodge a hail of shuriken that embedded themselves on the door. Naruto shook his head. Why do people always go for the door and then not use it? He noticed Taiya looking at him strangely. What? Taiya looked away. First things first. We are getting ninja clothing. Naruto grinned. I wonder if they have anything in orange twack. Oh, Taiya. What was that for? Taiya was standing over Naruto, holding a shoe in her hand. You will not be wearing orange as a ninja. It is not a ninja color, it is a kill me now sign on a dopey kid. You will not be wearing orange. Do we have an understanding? Naruto gulped. Yes, Taiya. Taiya smiled. Good. Now let's go get some clothes. Naruto ducked out of the door right after Taiya. We also have to learn Shunshin. Taiya nodded in agreement as she walked down the underpopulated street. I agree. It would greatly improve our travel time. Naruto smiled. I just think it's cool. Taiya's sweat dropped. This shithead blonde Taiya muttered, here's a clothing store Naruto. Let's see what we got. Naruto, get the fuck out here. Taiya banged on the door to the dressing room. The two had visited just about every store in Kumori before she realized that Naruto was still aiming for something orange. While they had refilled their kunai and shuriken stocks, both had realized that they should change their styles slightly. Taiya and Naruto both purchased an okatana. Taiya had realized that she depended too much on her doki and jinjutsu, and sometimes they didn't quite cut it, as the lazy Konohinin had proven to her. Naruto had gotten one because, in deciding to learn Kenjutsu, he would further confuse anyone who was looking for him. Taiya had to admit, however grudgingly, that Naruto wasn't as stupid as most gave him credit for. Unless it came to his precious orange. I don't want to come out, I feel weird. Taiya sighed and bashed her head on the door. Just because it doesn't have orange on it doesn't mean it's not good. It's actually the opposite. Taiya took a step back as the change room door unlocked. Alright Taiya, I'm coming out, but I'm warning you it won't be pretty. Naruto stepped out from behind the door, making Taiya go slack-jawed at his transformation. While Naruto had never been good-looking, she had never really believed it to be the fault of the hideous orange jumpsuit that he wore, but standing right in front of her was undeniable proof of that fact. Naruto was dressed in a black leather duster, which had metal plates sewn in certain places to protect the vital organs. Underneath the duster, he was wearing a tight black shirt, which had fishnet sleeves going down to his elbows. He had also put on fingerless gloves to complement his okatana. The gloves had one blade each that sprang out when chakra was run through them. When they were not in combat mode, the tips of the blade simply looked like a plate of metal on the back of his glove. His pants, which had changed into a dark green color, had hundreds of pockets, just about everywhere you could think of. Naruto was also sporting black combat boots, with metal plates placed inside the soles as well as the toes. Naruto was fidgeting nervously under Taiya's scrutinizing stare, unconsciously fingering the okatana strapped to his back. Well? How is it? Taiya. Taiya. Naruto was waving his fingers in front of her face. He gave up trying to get her attention and started poking her in the forehead repeatedly. She snapped out of her daze almost instantly, grabbing his hand as he went to poke her again. What the fuck do you think you're doing? Taiya hissed, tightening her grip on his hand, crushing it into submission. Naruto was about to answer when the old woman who ran the clothing store came past. She looked at the two nin and smiled. You two really do make a sweet couple, you know that. There aren't many ninja who would go around holding hands in public, you know. She ambled past Naruto and Taiya, humming to herself. Naruto and Taiya began blushing. Taiya seemed to realize that she was still holding his hand and immediately let go as if she was burned. I'll see you later, shithead. She mumbled as she ran out of the store faster than her ration. Naruto could only stand there looking stunned. Then a dopey smile made its way onto his face. She is pretty cute. It's too bad I can't tell her that without being pounded. Naruto walked out of the store, the smile still on his face. I suppose I should train before I finish up for the day. Taiya was sprinting down the street, dodging random people who stood in her way. She was only doing this subconsciously, her mind was more focused on what was happening to her. What the hell is going on? I'm not supposed to get embarrassed, I'm supposed to be the one embarrassing him. So why the hell do I get so disoriented around him? Taiya turned a corner and began jumping up the stairs towards her apartment. Naruto's in my apartment. She reminded herself. With only one bed. Ugh. This is not going to be fucking fun, although waking up in his arms felt pretty nice. Fuck. I'm starting to like him. Damn it. Taiya slammed the door to the apartment and moved for the bed. I think I'll sleep on it. I'll feel better in the morning. Chapter 4 Inazuma Tate X. The wind blew down the crowded streets of Konoha, ruffling clothes and hair as it passed. The civilians were everywhere and they were joined by several ninja. The celebrations were just beginning, for it was the 2-year anniversary of the day that the Kyuubi had finally been killed. As it turned out, he had been harboring a sound Kunoichi, and in the minds of many, this proved that the demon did indeed betray Konoha and attempt to send the last Uchiha straight into the clutches of the Hibi-Sannin. There were 2 celebrations that surrounded the Kyuubi no Kitsune, one for his containment and one for his death in the apartment fire that a mob had caused, finally getting rid of the demon and his horde that he had been associating with. At least, this is what was on the posters that people put up surrounding the days moving up to the day Naruto had died. Sakura snorted in disgust as she walked past the remainder of the Rookie 9. I can't understand why they still stand up for that bastard. He attacked a Konoha nin and Sasuke at that. What gives them the right to treat me like trash? All I did was arrange the deaths of Naruto, and the sound whore Sakura was forced to stop as several children ran in front of her, delighting in the day's festivities. A hand was placed on her shoulder, and as she turned she looked into the eyes of a man in his mid-20s. This you wouldn't happen to be the famous Sakura-sama, would you? Sakura smiled and turned her nose up arrogantly. Yes, that would be me. Have you come to give me something for arranging the deaths of the demon and his whore? The man snickered softly. Yes, I have. The man leaned up until his mouth was at Sakura's ear. Naruto and Taiya say, and I quote, "Watch your back, bitch. Cause we're coming for you and the bastard Uchiha." Sakura's eyes widened and she jumped back. You, who the hell are you? The man simply looked up at the Hokage monument. Sakura followed his gaze to see Sasuke strung off the nose of the Shadame in nothing but a fluffy pink tutu. Sakura screeched and cocked her fist, fully prepared to hit the man for embarrassing her Sasuke like that, before she realized that he was long gone. However, a whisper of his voice made it back to her. Enjoy the upcoming Chunin exams, bitch. X. Naruto shook his head in disbelief at his teammate Kuro, who had just finished telling him and Taiya about his little infiltration of Konoha and subsequent pranking of Sasuke. He didn't have anything to say other than curse words and how stupid he had been. Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your point of view, Taiya felt no compulsion to keep quiet. You fucking idiot. Why the hell would you tell that psycho bitch that we are still alive? Kuro chuckled softly. Because no one of consequence will believe her. Those who hate Naruto, and by proxy you, will not want to believe that either of you could still be alive. The only one who would believe her would be the Godame and those whom she wishes to tell. Taiya grabbed his Anbu-style shirt and attempted to pick him up, failing miserably because he was easily half a head taller than her. And what the hell made you think that you could get away with it? Taiya pulled her fist back for a punch. Kuro quickly put his hand in his vest pocket and pulled out 2 small squares of paper. I got you guys pictures. A few seconds passed, then Naruto and Taiya lunged forwards, Taiya dropping Kuro in an attempt to snatch the photos away from him. The 2 of them managed to grab the pictures from his hands before he hit the ground. Naruto took great care in studying the picture, but Taiya's words summed it up best. That's fucking hilarious. Naruto chuckled. You still have the negatives. I'm sure Itachi would love to have this the next time Sasuke tries to kill him. Kuro nodded. I gave him a photo before I got here. Naruto laughed. Thanks Kuro, that just made my day. Kuro stood up and yawned. Good to know. Anyway, I'll see you 2 lovebirds later. I have to get back to my place before Oin-chan does something unfortunate. Naruto chuckled. You and your damn girlfriend troubles. Kuro grinned. Yeah, but I suppose I'm lucky that my girlfriend doesn't swear as much as yours. Kuro quickly shunshined out of the apartment, just avoiding the 2 volleys of thrown projectiles. Taiya stood up, making her way towards the bathroom while mumbling about bastards making something from nothing. Naruto closed his eyes and lied back on the sofa, remembering the first time that Team Kikis, as Kuro quickly dubbed it, had met. Flashback, Naruto and Taiya were being dragged by Itachi to the training grounds, where they would meet the 3rd member of their squad, Kuro-shin. Apparently, Kuro was a Taijutsu specialist, and his bloodline allowed him to take his skills to a whole new level once it activated. Right now, however, Naruto and Taiya were being forced to listen to the ranking system of their new home. Now, in this village, we take quality over quantity. For example, an average genin from Kumarigakur could take on a Konoha Chunin and easily outmatch them. A Chunin would give Konoha's Anbu lieutenants a run for their money, and a Jounin, well, I am a slightly above average Jounin class ninja of Kumarigakur. Naruto choked. But you're an S-rank ninja. Your cage level. What the hell? Itachi smiled wanly. Yes, people tend to be much more powerful here than most other hidden villages. Taiya spoke up. What makes this village so different? Itachi smiled again and began dragging the 2 towards the training grounds once again. There are several reasons for our increased ninja capabilities. For one thing, we do not have such things as clan jutsus or the academy Taijutsu. There are a few exceptions with the clan jutsu, such as skills that augment bloodline traits or something that someone creates themselves. As soon as a student becomes genin, we train them in a style of taijutsu that best fits their strengths and covers their weaknesses. We also have them learn their affinities and then teach them the appropriate jutsu. A main point of difference between the Academy of Konoha and our academy is that our academy is also renowned within the village for never giving out paper tests. Knowing how old the Shodaime was when he died will not protect you in battle. Our academy graduating test is split into 4 parts: Taijutsu, Ninjutsu, Genjutsu, and any specialties that the student may have. Not only is our graduating rate higher than every other academy out there, but as soon as a ninja gains a higher rank, then that ninja is given 2 months of leave to practice and learn. Just remember, just because you may have been a genin by Konoha's standards doesn't mean that you will make it here. Naruto spoke up, slightly nervous of the fact that he could have to repeat the academy. What happens if we don't meet those standards? Itachi turned and gave a sadistic grin. I will be personally training you for 2 years before you enter the Chunin exams. You will be at my standards or you will die. Oh, we're here. Naruto and Taiya began sweating nervously at the threat of death by training. Oh, one more thing before I go. Kuro has no tact. Itachi then disappeared. Taiya turned to Naruto. What the fuck did he mean by that? All of a sudden a teenager with spiky black hair and a scar that ran from his jawline and up to his cheekbones popped out from out of nowhere. He landed right between Naruto and Taiya. He blinked at them owlishly. How long have you two been dating? Naruto and Taiya flinched. What the hell are you talking about, you fucker? Kuro turned towards Naruto. Are you really that short or is it a genjutsu? Naruto growled. Taiya and Naruto shouted together before pummeling Kuro to a pulp. I'm gonna kill you. Flashback end. Naruto shifted slightly as Taiya exited the bathroom, expecting some half-hearted verbal abuse from the fiery retard. Naruto was pleasantly surprised when she just sat down at the far end of the sofa. Naruto lifted himself up into a sitting position beside Taiya. What's up, Tae-chan? Taiya grunted. Don't call me that. Naruto chuckled as he poked her in the shoulder. Tell me why there has been a serious lack of swearing at me today. Taiya huffed and leaned against Naruto, who was extremely surprised by her non-violent actions. Something must really be bugging her, she only acts this quiet when she's asleep or thinking about something. I don't want to take any chances. Now Naruto was really confused. Chances with what? Taiya mumbled something and then turned away. Come on, tell me. Taiya sighed. Fine, fine. You want the truth? Naruto nodded. Alright, the truth is that well, you are my only friend. I don't want to mess that up. If I insult you, you may start to hate me. Naruto put an arm around her shoulders. Not gonna happen. I didn't have many friends growing up, mostly because I acted really annoying, so that the only people who would associate themselves with me would be true friends. I learned long ago to always look a gift horse in the mouth, no matter how innocent it may seem. Taiya glanced up at Naruto's face. What the hell happened to you to do something like that just to protect yourself? Naruto sighed and put his head in his other hand. Well, I was an orphan of the Kyuubi attack and so I was placed inside an orphanage. All of the caretakers were really nasty towards me, but the matron was nice and kept trying to get people to adopt me. Finally, one day she succeeded and an elderly couple adopted me. I was happy for about a week. You see, that couple's children had all died in the Kyuubi attack and believed that I was the Kyuubi incarnate. So, after I got comfortable and let down my guard, they put poison in my tea. Taiya gasped, horrified that people would do something like that to a child. She knew that he had a crappy childhood, but that was a little extreme. I survived thanks to the Kyuubi, but that in itself seemed to prove to the villagers that I was the Kyuubi. In their minds, it was the only way I could have survived. It's kind of strange, if I had died, the couple would have been viewed as heroes for killing the Kyuubi, but since I survived, I was Kyuubi. Taiya snarled. Those bastards, are we going to kill them? Naruto looked at her, half amused and half afraid. If I attack the villagers, I would become what they believed I was. I will not become a self-fulfilling prophecy, did you say we? Taiya answered with a grin. Hells yeah, friends should stick together. Naruto smiled. Thanks Taiya. You want to go out for some ramen? Taiya laughed and mock punched the blonde boy. I'll go out with you, but no goddamn ramen. Got it. Naruto nodded and stood up. It's a date. Taiya began to sputter uncontrollably. What? Naruto had his fox-like grin plastered on his face as he walked towards the door after snagging his wallet. Did I stutter? Come on Taiya-chan, we are going on a date. You pick the place and we'll go out tomorrow. Naruto then vanished, leaving a distraught, confused, and ecstatic Kunoichi to ponder on her attire for the date. At last they are together, my plan is now in motion, this is just the beginning. Kuki kuku, thwack, yo. Damn it, that hurt. Thwack. Oh. Shut up and go back to sleep, Kuro, or I'll hit you again. Yes, Oin-chan, just put down the sword. Finally they're getting together. I thought I'd end up tying them together for an entire day before they went out. Oh yeah, I already did that last week, damn it. Tsunade was pissed. Dangerously pissed. As soon as the council figured out that Naruto had not been killed in the accident, they wanted to send Hunter Nin after him. Needless to say, Tsunade was pissed. You have no right to send Hunter Nins after Naruto. He is not a shinobi of the leaf. A civilian council member began shouting. We cannot let the thing continue to live. It must be killed before it returns to finish what it started 16 years ago. Tsunade slammed her fist down on the desk in front of her. That thing, as you call him, was once a shinobi of this village and an extremely loyal one at that. I want you to give me one solid reason why we should send Hunter Nin after him when he has done nothing to provoke us for over 2 years. A pink-haired woman from the civilian side of the council stood. Okage-sama, with all due respect, the demon has obviously tricked you into thinking that it will not come back. Uzumaki Naruto might have become a great ninja, but that child died the moment the Yondaime placed the Kyuubi no Kitsune inside of him. Therefore, he is a danger to this village and must be treated as such. Tsunade lost her temper. God damn it, you idiots. You idiots, what happened to Sasuke when he attempted to go missing? Nin? He was brought back, kicking and screaming, and several fine ninja nearly lost their lives to save one spoiled brat. You stripped Naruto of his rank for attacking someone of clan status, but through Sasuke's actions alone, many clan heirs nearly lost their lives. Why is Sasuke still a shinobi if he has committed such crimes? Tsunade sat down, emotionally drained. Okage-sama, Sasuke-kun was under the influence of the curse seal, and we have tangible proof that this seal's effects were fueled by the demon's chakra. Tsunade stood. And where is this proof? I would like very much to prove that it is indeed authentic. One of the assembled council members stepped forwards and placed a folder in front of Tsunade. The council member quickly made his way back to the safety of his seat as Tsunade opened the folder and began to review its contents. Mere moments after reading the first page, Tsunade's eyes bulged. There it was, actual evidence that the Kyuubi's chakra corrupted Sasuke's mind. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. Wait a moment, this theory only applies if Naruto continually released the Kyuubi's chakra directly into the seal. Even then, it would only give Sasuke more power with which to fight the curse seal. Who in the hell wrote up this report? As Tsunade's eyes reached the bottom of the page, she let out a small yelp and dropped the paper. The pink-haired woman stood up once again. As you can see, Hokage-sama, we were telling the truth. Bullshit. The pink-haired woman blinked. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, but you cannot dispute those findings. We had a medic nin work tirelessly to get those results. Tsunade's eyes narrowed. These findings are falsified. The Kyuubi's chakra would not affect Sasuke's judgment, but you already knew that, didn't you, Sakura? Sakura smiled. I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, Hokage-sama. I found those results myself. You see, for some reason, all of the med nins that you trained seemed to have a tough time finding the truth. Why is that, Hokage-sama? Tsunade growled. I taught them to be impartial, Sakura. That is why I never taught you. You are not a true ninja. You seem to think that ninjas can't die until they fall in love and have their happily ever after. Those are not the things a ninja believes, Sakura. Those are the things that an emotionally immature girl believes. Sakura matched Hokage's furious gaze with one of her own. I was the best candidate for your apprenticeship. But you refused to teach me and continue to refuse me, even though I have the entire civilian council supporting me. You just can't get over the fact that I was right and that Naruto was a demon, so you keep denying me power to help Sasuke-kun. Tsunade slammed both her fists down on the desk in front of her, obliterating it and sending shards of wood everywhere. That's it. This council meeting is over. The civilian council will leave now. The shinobi council and I have important issues to discuss. Tsunade glared at Sakura as though daring her to speak out against her. Sakura looked away and left along with the rest of the civilian council members. So then it is our turn to host the Chunin exams once again. Tsunade nodded. That is correct, Tsum. However, we have a new hidden village that wishes to participate in them. There were some disgruntled murmurs as several shinobi recounted the Sand Sound invasion. Rest assured, they have sent a diplomatic envoy to ensure that their intentions will cause no harm to us or our shinobi. Hyuga Hiashi coughed lightly. If I may, Hokage-sama, who are they sending on this envoy? Tsunade grimaced slightly. I'm not sure, although Komori has said they are sending their best genin team here for the Chunin exams. Hiashi's eyebrows rose slightly. They are sending only one team? Surely they cannot be that arrogant. Tsunade smiled wryly. Komori's standards are exceptional. Ninja are only given the opportunity to take the Chunin exams when they are deemed ready by the Akatsuki herself. Hiashi's eyebrows rose even further. Why would she do that? Tsunade chuckled softly. All of their Chunin and any high-level genin that would be taking the Chunin exams would easily be able to dispatch any one of our jounin. There were several shouts of protest. Surely that cannot be possible. They would just be genin or Chunin. There's no way that any of them could take on a Konoha jounin and win. Tsunade shook her head. I'll give you a hint as to their power. Their weakest jounin is low S rank. The Ikakige's SS rank silence spread through the room. Oh shit, we are so boned. It would appear so, soon. Shut up, Shibi. X. Damn it, damn it, damn it. Well, Naruto, it looks like your girlfriend's colorful use of language is rubbing off on you. Shut up, Itachi, just shut up. Itachi cackled maniacally before compassing himself. It wouldn't do to have people thinking he was insane. Not that he wasn't insane, it was just better if people never found out. Aya grabbed Naruto's hand and entwined her fingers with his. So, Naruto, how does it feel to finally come back to this shithole? Naruto chuckled at his girlfriend's blunt approach. Well, it ought to be better since they won't recognize me. This was true. Before beginning the journey to Konoha's Chunin exams, Naruto had been forced to dye his hair black. You aren't still upset about that, are you? Naruto's eye twitched. No, Kuro. I like having black hair. I like looking like an emo bastard. It builds character and strong bones. Kuro grinned. Glad you like it. Good idea with the mask, by the way, your whisker marks are a little too noticeable. Yeah. Aw, come on, those things made blondie putty in my hands. Naruto's eye twitched violently. Typical Taiya, using the power of the whisker marks for seduction. Although, I have to admit, seeing the dumb one over here purr like a small kitten was priceless. Taiya laughed. I agree. Although the mask makes him look like that one guy from the bingo book Kakashi. Except with black hair. Kuro nodded. True, but at least Naruto's hair obeys the laws of physics. Kakashi's hair is just impossible. Taiya laughed again. Naruto got a twinkle in his eye that promised pain or embarrassment. Taiya-chan, you should laugh more often. It sounds beautiful. Taiya turned a bright red color that was previously unknown to man. Naruto began laughing. Taiya just slugged him in the arm. Bastard, you'll pay for embarrassing me like that. Kuro shook his head. You two are perfect together, even if it did take you guys 2 entire years to finally hook up. You two never did tell me how that date you guys went on last month went. Naruto answered him. It went horribly. People kept telling us how cute a couple we were, how beautiful Taiya was, how lucky I was, it was so sweet I actually retched. Taiya smirked. What do you mean by, how beautiful I was? Naruto stammered. I'll race you to Konoha. See you guys later. Naruto took off at full speed down the dirt road only to slam headfirst into a large wooden gate a few moments later. Itachi was the first to speak. You win, Naruto. Damn you sensei, damn you to hell. The group had agreed to address Itachi only as sensei, well they were in Konoha for obvious reasons. Chunin heard Naruto's impact on the gate and peered out from behind their respective guard stations. Are you the convoy from Kumarigakur? Itachi nodded. Alright, come on in and let's get the paperwork out of the way. Several minutes later, Team Kikis was treading quickly towards the apartment complex where they would be staying at for the duration of the Chunin exams. They were doing their best to avoid any unwanted attention, but the stares and whispers seemed to follow them everywhere. Did you see them? Yeah, those 3 are supposed to be able to take on A-rank ninjas by themselves. They might be able to, but I bet they can't beat Sasuke. No shit. Sasuke is the best ninja in the elemental countries bar none. He's gonna be the next Hokage for sure. For sure. Naruto shook his head in disgust. Those dumbest villagers, Sasuke isn't even a B-rank ninja, and they seem to think he can take on the world and win with little difficulty. I wonder why he stayed. I assumed he would have left again as soon as he could walk. Naruto's internal musings were interrupted as he sensed several chakra signatures heading his team's way. Naruto glanced at both his teammates. The expressions they wore showed that they felt the ninjas coming too. Soon the chakra signatures were close enough for Naruto to identify the signatures. Damn it, Naruto hissed, one of those ninja coming this way is Sasuke. I think Sakura and Kakashi are with him. Itachi nodded tersely. I will take my leave now and remember. Give them hell. Kuro saluted. Will do. Itachi shunshined away as 3 ninja landed in front of Naruto and his team. The foremost ninja was Uchiha Sasuke. Sasuke grinned. So, even in Kumarigakur you have heard of my power, tell me your name. Naruto grimaced. My name is Byako. The Redeed beside me is Sanoni and the guy holding the warhammer to your neck is Kuroshin. Sasuke's eyes widened. What? How could he have gotten past my guard? I am the best there is. Sasuke smirked. Fight me. Kuro sweat dropped. Damn, this is exactly what Naruto said would happen. Kuro sheathed his sword and scratched his chin. I don't know, I'm pretty tired, I may just go have a nap. Sasuke's eyes formed the Sharingan. Damn it. Fight me. I will show you my power. Kuro sweat dropped again. This guy is quite unoriginal and repetitive. And what's that annoying screeching sound right in my ear? Are you gonna fight Sasuke-kun? Or have they heard about Sasuke-kun's legendary strength all the way in Kumarigakur? Or have you realized that you are no match for Sasuke's awesomeness? Taiya sighed in exasperation. Damn it, you screechy bitch. Just fucking shut up already. Sakura immediately quieted down, but not without sending an icy glare directed towards Taiya. Please, Sanoni, you have no idea of our team's power, I could easily crush you. Taiya twitched. Naruto sighed and put his head in his hands. You two go ahead. Kuro and Taiya looked at Naruto. Really, Bayako? Naruto nodded. Well, Sasuke, you've got your fight. Now, could we take this battle to a more suitable location? Sasuke netted Kuro and started walking off. Team Kikis followed, while being tortured with screeches detailing every bit of Sasuke's awesomeness. Sasuke-kun is so awesome, isn't he? He's so strong too, I mean, he beat a Jinchuriki almost 3 years ago during our last Chunin exams. Naruto blinked. I was under the impression that Sabaku no Gaara was defeated by one Uzumaki Naruto. Sakura snorted. Please, everyone knows that the demon implanted the memories of him defeating Gaara into everyone who saw the battle. Naruto twitched. Suddenly, Sakura leveled a cold glare at Taiya. I know what you're thinking, slut. Taiya jumped slightly at the loudness of her voice. And what is it that I'm thinking? Sakura shook her head. You want to get into my Sasuke-kun's pants. I can see it in your eyes. Taiya stared for a few moments before compassing herself. Why in the hell would I want to have sex with a man that either has no or is gay? Maybe even both. Taiya seemed oblivious to Sakura's quickly reddening face. Besides, I already have a boyfriend and he is way better than Sasuke. Bayako here isn't a psychotic traitor. At this, Sakura blew up. Sasuke-kun is not a traitor. The demon bastard drove him away from Konoha when he messed with his mind. That's why after he left, Sasuke-kun didn't try to leave again. Sakura would have continued, but she was interrupted by Sasuke. We're here. Now, you will face the might of the Uchiha clan. Kuro hung his head. Egotistical bastard, I wonder if there's any desserts at the hotel. Chocolate. Kuro shook himself out of his daze. Come on, you banshee bitch, let's see what you got. Taiya ran to the center of the sparring arena and started bouncing off of each foot in a vain attempt to quell her excitement. Sakura sneered as she took her place opposite Taiya. Naruto jumped between the two girls. You both know the rules, no killing, stop when I say so, and hajime. Naruto leapt out of the arena as the battle commenced. Sakura took the basic academy to jutsu stance. You have no chance against me. I trained with Sasuke-kun. Taiya sweat dropped. And what? I trained with Sasuke-kun. Taiya shook her head. So what? That doesn't mean anything. Sakura seemed confused. But I trained with Sasuke. Sakura was interrupted when Taiya launched a quick punch to the pink-haired girl's gut. Taiya watched as Sakura fell to the ground, wheezing and coughing. Taiya shook her head. Kunoichi, like you give us real Kunoichi a bad name, you know that. You can't always hide behind your teammates because they can't protect you forever. How are you still alive? Sakura said nothing, only continuing to breathe weak raspy breaths. Sasuke was almost instantly dragging Sakura to the outside of the ring, evidently in a hurry to start his match. Soon, the two combatants were ready and Naruto quickly reviewed the rules once again. No killing, stop when I call the match, and hajime. Naruto quickly jumped back to observe the match. Sasuke quickly formed hand seals and sent a fireball flying towards Kuro. As the fireball impacted, nothing was left on the earth but scorch marks. Sasuke smirked. He should have known better than to fight in Uchiha. Well, I am pretty stubborn. Sasuke's eyes widened as he felt a cold steel blade against his neck. What? That's impossible. My Sharingan can see through nin and Jinjutsu, I know, but you seem to forget that fireball you tried to hit me with blocked your vision of me. Kuro sheathed his sword and walked towards the edge of the arena. Uchiha, you seem to think that a jutsu can only be powerful if it's a flashy technique. You are wrong. Well, this could have escalated into a full-blown ninjutsu match if I had blocked your fireball. It was much easier to just avoid your jutsu completely and catch you off guard. If you are the most powerful shinobi of the leaf, then the leaf is screwed. Sasuke made a few hurried hand signs as he rushed Kuro, attempting to blindside him. Dodori. Sasuke plunged his lightning-covered fist into Kuro's back, piercing all the way through to his heart. Sasuke smirked. Never turn your back on an enemy. Surprisingly enough, the only ones who seemed shocked at Sasuke's actions was the audience that the short battle had gathered. Sasuke continued to smirk until Kuro turned into mud. What the hell? Crunch. Sasuke hit the ground hard with a swift tap from Kuro's warhammer. Kuro shook his head. Bastard's got no sense of when a match is over. He just thinks about winning, whatever the cost. Kuro, Naruto, and Taiya shunshined to the hotel. Kuro looked at Naruto and Taiya. I hope Taiya isn't a screamer, my room is right next to yours. Taiya and Naruto both had twitching eyes. Boom. Kuro was sent flying backwards into his room while somehow slamming the door as he passed through. Naruto groaned as he fell back on the bed. Taiya sat down beside him and snuggled into his side. What's wrong? The council is going to be on our asses for beating up the Uchiha. Worry later, sleep now. Yes, Taiya Haim. Jackass. Chapter 5. Inazuma Tate. Bang. 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 Ah crack. Damn it. I'm up. Hurry up, Kuro. The Konoha Civilian Council has demanded a reason for your unprovoked attack on Uchiha Sasuke. Oh fuck me. You wish, asshole. Well then, kindly leave the room as I clothe myself. Bastard. A few minutes later, Kuro emerged through the remains of a wooden door, only to be greeted by the sight of a tense Naruto and a nervous Taiya. He grinned as he walked up to his teammates. Let's get this show on the road. Naruto and Taiya simultaneously groaned. Shin Kuro, you have been brought before the council with regards to your unprovoked assault on Uchiha Sasuke. What do you say to this? Kuro shrugged, the guy wanted to spar. I sparred. He lost, that's all there is to it. A certain pink-haired girl stood up slowly, grimacing slightly while clutching her stomach. I saw what happened. You attacked Sasuke-kun after the match was over. Taiya snorted, yeah, right. The Uchiha shithead stuck a Chidori through Kuro's chest after the match ended. If it wasn't Atsuchi Bunshin, then Kuro would have died. A nondescript brown-haired man stood up, I can attest to that. Sasuke did assault the Kumori shinobi after the match was over, and thus, Kuro-san's actions should be considered self-defense. Quite a bit of grumbling followed this statement as the man sat down. Suddenly, the doors to the council chambers burst open, nearly flying off the hinges, as an angry Tsunade barged into the middle of the room. What the hell do you think you're doing? The civilian council doesn't have the authority to detain and question shinobi, especially shinobi from another village. Sakura stood up, trying to draw herself up to her full height and wincing in pain as she did so. Hokage-sama, I demand that the team from Kumarigakur be banned from taking the Chunin examinations in Konoha. The majority of the council members were nodding in agreement while a few were shaking their heads and grumbling. Naruto quirked an eyebrow. Looks like a few people are starting to see Sasuke for what he really is. I bet that whole stabbing people in the back with a Chidori thing is starting to get people's attention. The brown-haired council member stood up once again. No charges are to be pressed, Haruno-san. Kuro-san was not breaking any laws by defending himself. Sakura's face turned red before she stormed her way out of the chambers, closely followed by the rest of the council. Tsunade shook her head, damn overreaching bastards. Naruto chuckled, nah, it's fine, Hokage-sama, we didn't really have anything better to do this morning. Kuro smiled, they were busy doing it last night. Taiya turned on Kuro and punched him through the doorway. Fucking bastard. Can I kill him? Naruto chuckled, no Sanoni, you can't kill him. Kuro is our friend, remember? Besides, if you kill him, you'll have to tell Oyen about it. Taiya shuddered, good point. Tsunade smiled, well, thank you for your patience in dealing with the civilians. God knows they can be a pain. Naruto nodded, patience is a virtue. Goodbye, Hokage-sama. With that, Naruto and Taiya dragged Kuro out of the Hokage tower. Tsunade chuckled, this is gonna be one hell of a Chunin examination. Are you sure it's him? Yes, his chakra lacks the taint of the Kyuubi, but it is the same. Damn it. The only reason I allowed him to be discharged was so that I could induct him into Na, but that damn pink-haired bitch ruined my plan. Now, even the best laid plans sometimes go awry, do they not, Danzo? That is true, Orochimaru-sama. What is your plan, however? I cannot tell you everything, but I will indulge you a little bit. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto will be dead or under our control by the end of the Chunin exams. How? He has become strong, ridiculously so, but he still has one weakness. The girl. Exactly. Taiya-chan will serve my purpose one last time. A little short, but I'm just kidding. Mwahaha. So team, we have one day until the Chunin exams. What should we do? Kuro spoke as he pulled an apple from one of his many pockets and began munching on it. I think I'm going to explore Konoha, I want to see if it's changed at all since I've left. Naruto spoke wistfully, glancing around at the brightly colored stalls of the civilian market district. Taiya whacked him in the shoulder. Liar. You're just going to that damn ramen stand you always talk about. Naruto scratched the back of his head sheepishly, how'd you come up with that, Sanoni? Taiya crossed her arms and glared at Naruto, you talk in your sleep. Kuro smirked, and how exactly were you close enough to hear him, Sanoni? Taiya's eye twitched, I know what you're thinking, retard, and nothing happened like that. Kuro smiled, okay then, why were you close enough to hear Naruto in his sleep? Taiya said nothing. I knew it. You bastard. Naruto smacked himself in the face. Come on you two, how does it feel to leave me as the responsible one? Taiya, who was poised to stab Kuro repeatedly in the left eye, and Kuro, who was holding a kunai away from his right eye, both felt a tremor of unnatural coldness seep into their bones. Damn freaky ass shit. I agree completely. Naruto sighed as the three shinobi walked into the Ichiraku ramen stand. No respect. Kuro smiled as he took a seat. Of course not, then I'd have to call you Bayako-sama, and that would just be wrong. Naruto rolled his eyes. Right, what'll you three be having? A brown-haired waitress had come up on the other side of the counter. I'll have a miso ramen. I'll have the same stupid shit that the bastard is having. I'll have 4 beef, 3 miso, and 1 pork. The waitress nearly tripped when she heard the last order. What? So much? Naruto nodded eagerly, I'm so hungry I'll probably have more later, so don't worry. The waitress's eye twitched, dod. 5 miso, 4 beef, and 1 pork. Kuro sat down quietly on the park bench as he listened to the wind in the leaves. Such an anomaly, the sound of wind in a tree. Peaceful, relaxing, and the name of a hidden village that has cut a bloody swath through all who oppose it. Kuro leaned back on the bench. And yet this village is populated with such boneheads. It's no wonder that Uchiha is insane. I'd go insane if I ever have to hear another. A rustle in a bush, and Kuro was alert. Hello? The sound of people creeping closer alerted Kuro that he was surrounded. I'm warning you, I'm armed. A shiver ran down his spine as he heard a giggle. Kuro was so surprised that he froze. A single moment of weakness and their instincts allowed them to react. Kuro-kun. Oh shit. Naruto was suddenly stricken with the urge to laugh at Kuro. He managed to hold it in, but Taiya was not so compassed. Ahaha. Why am I laughing? Naruto pointed across to the park that was barely visible in the fading light. Kuro could be seen screaming in fear and running as fast as he could, away from a horde of what could loosely be called girls. Some were old, some were young, and some were holding various pictures of Kuro. Taiya squinted slightly, damn, all of those pictures are from this morning, and they're all different. Konoha's civilians are creepy as all hell, fucking bimbos. Naruto put an arm around Taiya's shoulders, enjoy it while it lasts, for tomorrow it will be but a memory. Taiya turned towards Naruto and stared at him. You acting wise. Stop it. Now. Or I'll have to hurt you. You wouldn't want that, would you? Naruto shuddered under Taiya's glare. Oh, of course not, Sanoni. Taiya smiled, although it seemed more like she was baring her teeth than displaying a gesture of happiness. Excellent. Naruto sighed and covered his face with his hand. He knew that soon he would be forced to eat real food. He wasn't happy. At all. What if Banished Naruto stop hiding power Sasuke bashing? Thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content, then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part, comment down, and thanks for watching the video and see you guys in the next video.